Daniel raises the question about the dangers of purely online organizing. He accuses Haz and Co. of basically running like a sort of online fan club or a fandom.
Mhm.
Or
Which he, of
there is,
course, isn't doing. He's not doing any of that. What he
it's
does
quite
online is very different.
well, he'd love to be as big as some of these accounts that he criticizes. But the reason why you've got this taking off of things like infrared is because essentially their success is another sign of the failure of leftism.
Mm,
There wouldn't be an audience if there was actually a Marxist-Leninist
mhm,
party in the United States that
mhm,
was solidly communist in its politics and its organizing.
mm,
Then the people who are attracted to these online communities would have somewhere in the real world to go. They
mm.
don't. What have they got? The PSL, which is a nightmarish organization of pseudo trots. The DSA, I'm sure, Tara, you've seen the footage of their conference a few years ago where they were all doing this because, you can't have applause. You have to
Oh,
read
good.
everything pronouns out. It's the
Mhm,
people who pretty much ran the whole Bernie movement into the ground. So again, people who are younger and angrier want to break out of this. Where are they going to go? They're not going to go to be told that they have to knuckle down and vote Democrat
mm,
by Daniel Tutt or the DSA or the PSL, who are also guilty of
mm,
this. They're
mhm.
going to go to somebody who can articulate that there is a problem and why. Whatever criticisms can be made of Haz, at least he does encourage his audience to read the Marxist classics,
Mhm.
which Daniel Tutt doesn't do, I note. And Haz doesn't deny the real world achievements of what we call actually existing socialism. But
Mm,
Tutt, because he's an anti communist, does deny all those things.
mm.
So where do you go? Do you go to the person who acknowledges that there's a problem, who says that there is a need for revolutionary change in the United States? Or do you go to the guy who's telling you to vote for the Democrats?
And mind your pronouns.
Yeah, mind your pronouns and vote
To be
Democrat.
super excited about every minority sexuality.
Yeah,
Super excited.
because you've never had as much consumer choice to reconfigure yourself in a distinctly Nietzschean fashion. Be excited about that. Why wouldn't you? And Tutt proclaims he understands the working class crisis. His politics say that he doesn't. Because if you understood it, you would understood that the achievement of the AC, their founding achievement, was to actually cause a split in the old CPUSA, was to actually force a glaring contradiction
Mm,
out into the open, which is that
mm,
the CPUSA has been married to the Democratic Party, wedded to it for decades. And that is basically welded into its leading structures and can't be questioned. And the
yeah.
achievement of the Haz group, the infrareds, which is to be admired, was to force open a contradiction and demonstrate publicly that this thing that calls itself a communist party is basically just the bit of the Democrats, but colored in with red felt pen. Now,
And
it is a
let's
good
stop
thing.
pretending otherwise.
And also, what kind of Marxism is it which views the myriad genders and sexual orientation choices as being the road to liberation? I
Mm,
mean, this is the discussion that's been had on the left over and over and over again. But the simple point is that without the working class being able to exercise its power, it doesn't matter how many sexual choices you've got. If you're broke, if you're subject permanently to the dictatorship of capital, if you have no real meaningful control over your life whatsoever, the sexual choice aspect there, that's the thing that capitalism is prepared to throw you. Why? It doesn't cost them anything.
mm,
Not really, which is why the left end of the bourgeoisie lent so heavily into the sexual revolution, partially because it's a good profit center. You can make a
mm,
lot of money doing that. It's good for the advertisers. They can make a lot of money doing that. And then it's good for the therapy industry because once you pushed everybody towards nihilistic sexual pursuits, as we
mm,
discussed last time with the Lily Phillips affair, then they're going to need a lot of people in therapy and a lot of people on antidepressants afterwards
mm,
because that's the end result of pushing nihilistic hedonism
mm.
in pushing the values of the left end of the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
So we come back to the question again. Tutt criticizes Haz for leading like an online cult, but Tutt himself defends an online cult. He
Mm,
defends the extremely online cult of gender ideology. And to
mm.
criticize it is violence.
Oh, it's heresy.
Yeah, heresy. This is a matter of pick your online cult, basically, and mine's better than yours because I've paid respects to more relevant nostrums. Irrelevant to the actual reality of the American working class right now, and will remain irrelevant.